Hi. So today we'll be talking about Unistore, a fault-tolerant marriage of causal and strong consistency. So let's go over the consistency definitions that are used in this paper. So one is causal. So what is causal consistency? It is that clients would see updates in order with respect to their potential causality between them. For example, if a question is asked, uh, do you want to have lunch or not, then the answer would be yes or no. So all parties will first have to observe the question, which is whether do you want to have lunch or not, and then either of the two choices, answer choices in any order is okay, but the answers should come after the question. So there is a relationship, causal relationship of that. So property of this is it's also stickily available. Like in the presence of network failures, every client connected to a non-faulty node can make progress, but clients should stick to the same server. The other part of other consistency model is strong. Over here we'll talk about specifically serializability. So this is mainly related to a set of operations happening atomically in a transaction semantics, and interleaving of sub operations of one transaction with other transactions is not possible, though the order between transactions is not required. And what can happen is, uh, because of this, a process can observe a write, then it can fail to observe the same write that it had done in the subsequent transaction. Also, if a process can fail to observe its own prior writes, those writes can occur in different transactions, which were occurred in different transactions. So order between transactions is not guaranteed. So what is Unistore? So it's a transactional variant of partial
Can,
order.
can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. So serializability does require you to have a serial equivalence, right, of transaction executions. So unless you're talking about
Yes.
unless you're trying to make a distinction between the strict serializability and serializability, right? So strict serializability will not require you to necessarily adhere to real-time execution, right? So the real-time order doesn't need to be preserved, but in serializability, some order, at least one serial order, have to exist, right? So it's not unordered set of operations. It's
So order has to be observed within the transaction. And if you have two different transactions, then transaction one can happen before transaction two, or transaction two can also happen before transaction one. But operations or sub operations within one transaction has to observe that order. And in strict serializability, what happens is, we even the transactions have to be in order. So this definition actually I've taken from that Jepson's nice diagram of all the models, but I have just taken just these two things, like causal and serializability.
okay.
Okay. So yeah, Unistore is a transactional variant of partial order restrictions consistency. All transactions like are default uh, casual consistent. Programmers specify which pairs of transaction will conflict with each other, and then will do a synchronization of those transactions. So what's the key challenge? The main challenge is liveness, to maintain liveness despite data center failures. So what happens is, just by adding a Paxos based commit protocol for strong transactions on an existing causal consistent protocol will not lead to a fault tolerant data store. So what's the solution? So they say that when a strong transaction has to commit, all its causal dependencies should be uniform. So definition of what is uniform. So uniform means uh, transactions will be, or all the dependencies will be eventually visible to all correct data centers. So correct data centers are the data centers which are live, and casual transactions have to be executed on a snapshot that is slightly in the past, so that strong transaction mostly depends on casual transactions that are already uniform before committing. This actually builds on a Cure paper, which is a highly scalable implementation of transactional causal consistency. So what happens is they also actually distribute the task of tracking set of uniformity of transactions to different machines of a data center. And data centers, so another notion that they have employed is data center will forward received transactions which were committed, and like these data centers are not the origin of these transactions, and they would propagate to the system even if the original data center has failed. So by doing this, they say that the liveness of the system will be maintained, or the whole system will be maintained. They also integrated existing atomic commit for strong transactions into causal consistency protocol. So what's the system model that they are using? So they say that we have lots of data centers. They are geo-distributed. Each data item is uniquely identified by some key. For scalability, key space is split into logical partitions, and each data center stores replicas of all the partitions. So PMD is actually a replica where the partition M is stored at data center D. Replicas of same partitions are known as sibling replicas. They tolerate F failures. And if data center fails, all partition replicas it stores become unavailable. So they say that they don't consider failures of individual replicas within data center. That's left to the state machine replication protocol, which will be executing within the data center. And replicas have physical clocks which are loosely synced up by NTP. Though they say that the correctness is not dependent on clock precision, but if large skew is there, large drift is there of clocks, then it will negatively impact the performance. And two replicas are connected by a reliable FIFO channel. Messages between correct data centers are guaranteed to be delivered. And for strong consistency, there is a requirement that the network has to be eventually synchronous. So that is there. So what's the consistency model? So they say that clients execute stream of transactions at the data center it's connected to. Consistency model is basically a value that the data store is allowed to return to the client. And the PUR model states that programmer can classify either a transaction is causal or a strong transaction. And that can be done by a symmetric conflict relation on operations. So two conflicting transactions, two transactions conflict if they are performing conflicting operations on the same data item. And PUR model guarantees that out of two conflicting strong transactions, one has to observe the other one. So they have to be one after the other, like one has to observe the other transaction in either of the order. And so what's the basic design decisions that they have done? So they say that we build this thing on a basic causal consistency model, and causal transaction first executes at a single data center in a causally consistent snapshot. After this, it's committed, updates to replica, all other replicas in the other data centers happens in background. And data centers expose remote transactions to clients only after exposing its dependencies, which means that all its dependency transactions have to be uniform. This is required to satisfy the eventual visibility thing, and data center may have to forward. So let's see what's the problem, how this eventual visibility is violated. So suppose you have three data centers, D1, D2, D3. There is a transaction submitted at D1 and it has no dependencies. Then it is replicated to data center D2. Then after that, data center D1 goes off, and then this transaction is visible on D2. So T1 is visible on D2. And there is another new transaction that's submitted, which is causally dependent on T1. And this new transaction is T2. So T2's dependency is on T1. Then at event 5, when T2 is replicated to all the correct data centers, so D1 is gone, so it will replicate to D3. Then D3 cannot expose this transaction T2 because T2 has a dependency on T1 and there is no way of T1 propagating to D3. So that's why they have a mechanism of transaction forward, remote transaction forwarding. If there was a possibility wherein D2 could have forwarded this transaction T1 to D3, then D3 would be able to make T2 also visible, because T2's dependency, which is T1, is present on D3. But since normally, like most of the systems don't do this, so they say that their liveness is less compared to this. And okay, so on-demand consistency. So yeah, so for stronger consistency, they make use of optimistic concurrency control protocol, which is basically a fault-tolerant two-phase commit plus Paxos. And their claim is that such a protocol is not efficient, or is actually not enough to make the whole overall system fault-tolerant, because of the earlier issue we saw. So a transaction, and so they say that to make it fault-tolerant, strong transactions, casual dependency transactions have to be uniform. And these transactions can be uniform only when they are replicated to F+1 data centers. So where F is the number of data centers it's allowed to fail. So at least one correct data center should be there, which would forward these transactions to the correct data centers that are there, and eventually it will be uniform. So how the line is compromised? Let's see another example. In this, we have a mix of causal transactions and strong transactions. So T1 is a causal transaction, which is submitted at data center D1, no dependency. T2 is a strong transaction submitted on the same data structure, data center D1, now is dependent on T1. Since T2 is a strong transaction, it has to be certified. This certification is done, which would mean that it's globally committed kind of thing. And for that, so now T2 is certified. So T2 is committed on D1, D2, D3. Then D1 goes off. And now what happens is commit. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So D1 goes off. But now, though it is committed, though transaction T2 is committed on D1 and D3, D2 and D3 data centers, it cannot be exposed to the clients because T2 is having a dependency on T1 and T1 is only with D1 and D1 is gone. So there is no way of T1 to go or propagate to D2 and D3. So even after it's committed, it cannot be exposed. Now, this problem doesn't stop here. The subsequent problem that can happen is if there is another strong transaction T3, which is happening at data center D3 after T2, its certification will fail because it will not, because T2 itself is not exposed. So T3, which is a new conflicting strong transaction with T2, can also not commit. So they say that if your one strong transaction is not exposed, all other subsequent strong transactions which are coming in future, which are dependent or conflicting with the earlier strong transaction, which is itself not exposed, will not be able to commit. So new strong transactions cannot be done. So the fundamental key design principle over here is make the remote casual transaction visible to clients only after it's uniform. So they have the notion of on-demand durability of casual transactions, which they implement using uniform barriers. Then for client migration also, they make use of this uniformity mechanism, where it can be used to preserve session guarantees during migration. What happens fundamentally is two set of operations. One is they issue a uniform barrier at the current data center, and they issue an attach to the new data center. The attach actually waits till all the uniform transactions which were done at the current data center to be seen at the new data center. Okay, so fault tolerant casual consistency protocol. So then they go into describing the implementation of or the logic of, the algorithm of how this protocol works. So couple of key points that they have is they have metadata which is tracked using vectors, and it stores a scalar timestamp. Then they track causality using vector clocks, and then what they say is that they have all sorts of commit vectors. So what they say is that if transaction T1 is done before T2, then the commit vector of T1 will be smaller than commit vector of T2, commit vector of second transaction. And then they have a log. Each replica has a log to maintain the operations, and each log entries together actually stores the operation as well as the commit vector. So then which it uses to reconstruct different versions of data items. And they have a notion of representing casually consistent snapshots through a snapshot vector, and client maintains a past vector so that this is used to give guarantees like read your own rights kind of thing. So, yeah. Okay, so how is tracking maintained? Like, so how is replication happening in this whole system? So for replication to happen, they have 3 vectors, and each is of tracking a different granularity. Like known vector is there, which tracks all the transactions which are updated at the partition. Stable vector is there, which tracks all the transactions, all the updates to all the partitions at the DC level. Uniform vector is there, which tracks set of update transactions at the data center level. So from the known vector, they compute the stable vector. From the stable vector, they compute the uniform vector. And the way they compute stable vector from is they replicas exchange commit vectors periodically, and they also so within the data center, and replicas globally, like in different data centers, exchange stable vectors periodically to get the uniform vectors. And uniform vector is then used to decide is used for strong transactions actually. Yeah. So how they advance uniform snapshots, like how it's advancing. So they have a background protocol for that as well. So first stage is like stable, like I've already said, stable, and then uniform. And also one thing they do is they incorporate snapshot vectors for remote data centers into uniform vector as well. So let's talk about evaluation. Like, so this is like around 10K lines of Erlang code. They made use of EC2 instances, which has 8 cores and 32 gig of RAM. RTT between regions ranges from 26 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds. Experiments were done on 3 data centers, and by default, they had 4 replica machines. Each machine used to store 8 partitions, which matched the number of cores. Then clients were hosted on different machines in each data center. 5 minutes was the runtime, with first and the last minute ignored. Replicas propagate through local transactions, and broadcast vectors every 5 minutes. Yeah. So every 5 minutes was the timer of syncing. So they had an online website kind of workload, which actually generated 11 read transactions, 5 update transactions, 4 strong transactions were there, which declared 3 conflicts between them. And total, there were 33,000 items, 1 million users, client think times were 500 milliseconds. And this was running with a mixed workload of 15%, which yield out of which 15% update transactions, out of which 10% were strong transactions. So what they say is, and they compared it with RedBlue strong system, which has only strong, all transactions are strong, system with casual. So strong and casual were variants of their own implementation, and they say that for casual, they did not look at the integrity of the auction site, but they just to observe like what's the best number if there is no strong consistency requirement that can happen. So they say that their system is somewhere around 45% overhead is there, and compared to strong it is better. There, compared to RedBlue, they are at the same level, because RedBlue is also has strong and casual, but after some time RedBlue's throughput drops while their throughput increases because of liveness that they have. Yeah. And so these are the references. They also have a proof paper, which is not the same. It's at different link. I've just mentioned that. The consistency model was taken from this site. And yes, special thanks to actually the author of the paper for answering a couple of questions. And happy Diwali to everyone. Thank you.